I think every author is different in that sense. And we work with authors who work differently. So one of the services we offer is what we call a manuscript evaluation. It's essentially almost like a developmental edit. And that's really a deep dive into the actual content. We're not looking at spelling and grammar or, overuse of certain words. We're really just looking at the content. Does it flow? Is it well organized? In the case of nonfiction, are you providing enough examples? Do you have a nice balance between actual data and more engaging material? And then for fiction, well, how about character development, pacing, plot, all of those things? More often than not, I recommend to authors to just get that first draft done. Now, in the case of nonfiction, it does happen that sometimes, organization and structure become really, really critical. So in those cases, often I will work with nonfiction authors who say, this is the message I want to get out. These are the elements I want to teach. This is my first chapter or my introduction. How can I organize my content? And then we can work out a suggested outline, a compass basically that they can follow. And through doing that, they can actually build a cohesive book that makes sense. But no matter what, I always recommend to authors, don't go back. So if you're in the middle of writing, don't wake up the next morning and say, okay, let me just do a quick reread of what I did yesterday. You will never move forward. It's so tempting to just go back. Oh, I think this one sentence can be better. So I really recommend, no matter what, get that first draft done. If you do feel, especially if it's your first book, and it's interesting how many people don't realize that writing it's a craft. Like, there are certain rules. There's a certain level of competence you want to achieve. So if writing is really not something you've been doing a lot of, definitely work with an editor, figure out a structure that makes sense. You may find, though, more often than not, that even after having such a structure, you will find yourself going back and saying, on second thought, it makes more sense to have what I had in chapter 3 actually move up to chapter 2. And that's okay too. But once you've actually started, just keep working. Sometimes authors will send me, can you just read this one chapter? This is the beginning. Am I going anywhere? Is this worth something? I was just doing this yesterday, actually. And that's okay. But don't keep doing that with every chapter. I don't recommend it because it can just really paralyze you, and your progress just will be it'll come to a grinding, screeching halt, because you're just never going to advance, especially if you're a perfectionist by nature and you're just going to go through every sentence and you want to make sure every sentence is perfect. You'll be at that chapter forever. So